beyond reasonable doubt. So yes, it changed the system as we know it. I would argue.
I don't think I'll walk out there on the 17th. No, I'll probably take public transportation because it's supposed to rain. Yeah, and if I'm taking my laptops, that's going to be heavy. So, yeah. Well, you can have two bags, right? And they're not even big. I'll have a backpack and that Victoria's Secret bag I use all the time. That's it. So, just even your basic toiletries become wicked heavy, and clearly 2 laptops are heavy. So, yeah. I would give up clothes over my laptops. Yep. That's a lot of money that I don't even know if I'm going to have any income at all. And obviously there's photographs on them. So you never know if ever in a day these people are going to let us use Facebook again. I'd have to, right, like they won't let me into my Facebook, my Mary Gladys Martin Lagoa. They won't let me into it. They blocked me out of it in June of 2022. When I went out there last year, I didn't bring my laptops with me. I didn't have a phone. And I just sat in a library, and I felt like it had something to do with them actually helping me to get a phone. Because I just sat in the library like this from March 13th till the end of April. Like writing in my head. So it seemed like it could have bothered people that they didn't know what I was thinking. After that many years of doing this, you go, I don't understand what's going on. She doesn't have a laptop. I wasn't even asking to use the library computers. Okay. I'm not addicted to the internet. Anyways, so it's nice to have a telephone, yeah. And I like to use the internet, but I think that was one of the things in the beginning where they were making up that people were addicted to the internet. It's like, you took all of my children in my house and I have no income or housing. I'm addicted to the internet. I don't want anything to do with you people. It's a coping mechanism, yeah. It's a coping mechanism because Exodus 20:13, and what would I do? Not I'm addicted to the internet. Right. You found that out on Mound Beach, and then you literally attacked me, and then I was forced back into a house again. So I do nothing but type and talk. Get it? Right. And then after that, you shut that phone off. That was the one that other Mary gave me. And then I show up on Mound Beach and I'm there with Karen and Michael the second he started talking to me, I was not using the phone at all. And then here they come. What many believe was getting away with murder, what others, as Joey said, thought was justice and well served. Yeah, it could have something to do with finally giving us all phones a year ago. Because a lot of those people probably didn't have a resource to go back to, like Amy, her father was put in a nursing home, and then she was stuck at the hotel for what, a year and a half, 2 years? So it gets boring when you don't have your Anons on a thing typing. That's why they have the TV. They've either got to have Facebook, Twitter, or television. So what are we doing? They're not doing that. So what are we doing? What's going on today? Just like Barbara Kent. So what are we doing? I don't know, Barbara. There's no we here. That's what I would say to her. So what am I supposed to be doing? Is she doing that to Cindy yet? What am I supposed to be doing? Nothing. I know, like, I don't know if Tommy gave her shit to do or he ignored her too. What am I supposed to be doing? Nothing. Why would you supposed to be doing anything? I know. I sat in a house with my children for 17 years. I don't remember ever once asking Al, what am I supposed to be doing? I can't do anything with this. Right. So, oh, it's going to rain even harder tomorrow. That's true. So that shit's going to have to wait until like Saturday or Sunday. Unfortunately, the stuff that I already bagged up. So, Monday, I'll clear out the refrigerator. Right. Because Monday night, everything, I'm going to have to basically pack up what I'm going to take. Yeah. By Monday night, I've got to pack up 2 bags basically. And then Tuesday will be a whatever. And then Wednesday morning, I'm out of here. And if I had anything I wore that I wasn't taking with me, I'll throw it in the trash over there on the way to the bus. Yeah. So that's what I was thinking I would do. So that hasn't changed. So I still have the weekends because tomorrow's going to rain heavily. And then I have the weekend to push that other shopping cart, just like yesterday, to the donation at Stop and Shop and just leave the whole thing there, the cart and everything. So that's it. There won't be any of my belongings here. Yeah, I was hoping to have the dog gone so I could wash that in the bedding before I left. So that hasn't happened yet. Yeah, it's a little bit concerning, I got to say, since it's Thursday and I have to leave here Wednesday morning. So about the dog, there's a chance that dog might be left in this house. So I think most people wanted to avoid that. It's got nothing to do with Mary being fucking incompetent. Yeah, tissue.
With Backfitter. Fiction. It's too expensive to remodel your back. With Backfitter's tub over tub process, you'll get the back you want to fit your budget. Backfitter, it just fits. Go to backfitter.com to book your free consultation. This small thing is the next big thing in diabetes. It shows your glucose and predicts where it's headed, just like that. Imagine, it just feels like Dexcom, powerful, simple diabetes management.
I'm Summer Zerfati in Washington. This is CNN.
We're back with breaking news recovering O.J. Simpson's death from prostate cancer at the age of 76. Joining us now, Greg Lamont, the former CNN reporter, who all of us remember covered O.J. Simpson's 1995 trial. He did so for over a year. Greg, you went to Simpson's house on the day of that infamous Bronco chase. I remember that as well. Tell us a little bit about it.
All right, so I got the. Oh, I need a bag. Carry the water bag. I'll test out my new umbrella. Got this. I don't have to take that one. I can take that one. This is the one I'm definitely taking. I could drop the umbrella off at the thing, I guess, at the donations while I'm up there. Why not? Just going to dump. This is the one I'm taking with me to put my dirty clothes in while I'm at the shelter. Some people, this is all they have, you know. They just have two of these. I know, just. I'm sure there's people that show up at that shelter with nothing. I was pretty close to that last year. I know there was some kind of a sickness before that hopefully they're over now. Yeah. There was like a sickness. I'm not going to get into it. I don't care about denials. I'm telling you. They thought it was their job to strip us of everything we had. Some of them went into some kind of disassociation where they think they're in purgatory and like they're workers in purgatory and they're going to help us transition into the next life and stuff. Like really sick people. Not I ask them what they're doing. I can just tell by the stuff they were saying to me and their actions and what I felt God was telling me. Is this all your stuff? Get it? And then they try to take it from you. Okay, so all of my stuff has been taken from me when I left Florida. Okay. When I left in August of 2021 and when I was forced out of a hotel in January of 2022. Okay. And now here we are again. And that stuff is new. So this is the fourth time. So that isn't true. After doing it 4 times, are they able to see now that that's not true? That's not reality, that they're mentally ill? Or they still think that's something that's going on?
One had to surmise that O.J. Simpson had reached the end of his life in his mind.
I'll be back, dog.
To at least the public's impression of guilt or innocence at the time, and so I think that to a broad spectrum of people, after a lengthy trial, the longest I've ever covered and have ever seen.
I'm just going to, I guess I'm not going to do that with the umbrella right now. I'm just going to get water.
It was a stunning period of time.
No, I got 2 things of peanuts yesterday, so I'm all set with that for right now. Yeah, I guess I got pockets, I guess. Up there.
DC area, and I was surprised with, do I like Billy Kilmer or Sonny Jurgens at the time? We would see bumper stickers. I like Sonny.
Got my phone.
But the one thing we had in common is that I recall several T-shirts that I had, white T-shirts back then, of course, and using a black magic marker to write the number 32 on the back. I mean, O.J. Simpson, in my mind at that time, was a hero and untouchable, and of godlike quality. And in the commercials, the Hertz commercials of him running through the airport, and, go O.J., go. And the subsequent movies that he was in, and living in Brentwood, and the beautiful life that he seemed to enjoy, and that this guy was something special from the time that he set foot on a football field to the time that he was retired, doing sideline reporting for NBC News, or NBC Sports, I should say. So it was quite a stunning thing to have happened. I will say that. Shocking, really. Totally shocking, and he was a hero to so many of us on the football field, and the collapse that occurred only years later was so powerful for so many of us. Rick, stay with us. I want to continue this conversation, but I want to take another very quick break. Our breaking news coverage of O.J. Simpson's death will continue right after this.
Sunday, a night of space. The whole story with Anderson Cooper, the James Webb Telescope, are revealed. Follow Latitude Watch finale of the Space Shuttle Columbia, the final flight. Sunday starting at 8 on CNN.
Stay tuned to learn more about this limited time offer from Renewal by Anderson. Have you been looking at replacing your home's windows or doors? If so, I'm sure price is a huge factor. At Renewal by Anderson, we're really proud of our fair pricing policy.
We're a typical middle-class family. We have a budget. We need to be aware of where our money's going. And the great thing about Renewal by Anderson was we actually had several financing options that were going to make sense for our situation.
So, let's talk windows. Our Fibrex window material is like the gold standard in the industry. It's a composite material that lasts longer, performs better, and is actually 2 times stronger than mine. Okay, so you're carrying this out to your back deck, but you gotta stop and try to shove open that patio door. That can be real frustrating. The dual ball bearing adjusters on our patio doors help the doors to glide easily. At Renewal by Anderson, we've been doing this a long time. And we know that you don't want some hard sell sales pitch. We'll visit your home, see exactly what you have, and then give you an exact price for it. And we'll honor that price for a whole year so that there's no pressure. Let us give you a price on the windows and doors that you will love.
We had the intention of looking at different companies, doing some due diligence, and we started with Renewal by Anderson, and it was such a compelling conversation and process that we ended up not even looking any further.
Before April 30th, buy one window, patio door, or entry door, get the next one 40% off. That's 40% off with a minimum of 4 units. Plus, save an extra $30 on every window and door you buy with no money down, no monthly payments, and no interest for 1 year. This offer ends April 30th. For a free appointment with Renewal by Anderson, call 1-800-501-1400. That's 1-800-501-1400.
Angie that.
What?
Angie that. And needs comparing custom quotes from skilled service professionals. Or cookies and upfront price, so you can find the best price for you. Get started today at Angie.com.
You've got better things to do than clean up fog gutters. Call me Filter today and never clean out fog gutters again. This filter technology keeps the clean from the big gutters for good. Guaranteed. Call 833 today or visit BlueFilter.com.
With Wet AMD, I worry I'm not only losing my sight, but my time to enjoy it. But now, I can open up my world with Vabysmo. Vabysmo is the first FDA-approved treatment for people with wet AMD that improves vision and delivers a chance for up to 4 months between treatments, so I can do more of what I love. Vabysmo works differently. It's the only treatment designed to block 2 causes of wet AMD.
Vabysmo is an eye injection. Don't take the pill infection. Vabysmo is allergic to it. Treatments like Vabysmo can cause an eye infection or retinal detachment. Vabysmo may cause a temporary increase in eye pressure after receiving the injection. There's an uncommon risk of heart attack or stroke associated with blood clots. Severe swelling of blood vessels in the eye can occur. Most common eye side effects are cataract and broken blood vessels.
Open up your world with Vabysmo.
A chance for up to 4 months of free treatment with Vabysmo. Ask your doctor.
With that low drugs guarantee, you'll get quality comfort. That one at great price. Will be any competitive offer guaranteed. Schedule it now.
I know the TurboTax expert because I had 2 full-time jobs, lawyering and cleaning.
Count on me, Mia. I'll file your taxes for you with 100% accuracy guaranteed.
Let a TurboTax full-service expert do your taxes as soon as today.
Look Snap City brought to you by Rue La La. Iconic brands up to 70% off retail at RueLaLa.com.
At Rubella. Never can hold back. These the dealers want how you shop Rubella.
We're following the breaking news. O.J. Simpson has died at the age of 76 after a battle with prostate cancer. So many millions of us will remember O.J. Simpson's legendary low-speed police chase during the summer of 1994. It was one of the most watched events in television history. And now, some 30 years later, it can still give those of us who remember it goosebumps. Let's listen and watch as a police officer tries to talk Simpson into surrendering and stopping. Listen to this.
Yeah? Just let me get to my house.
Oh yeah, we're gonna do that.
I swear I'll get you with it. Are you gonna give my whole body? Okay.
Okay, we're gonna do that. Just throw the gun out the window.
We're not gonna hurt him, but you
there. Just throw it out the window, please. You scared everybody. OJ, you there? Yep. I'm not to keep you guys away from me. I know that. Nobody's gonna hurt you. Okay, it's for you. I know that, but do it for you. For me. I know that. I know that, but do it for the kids too, will you? Think of your kids. Please, just toss it out. You scared everybody. I'm not gonna hurt anybody. I know you're not gonna hurt anybody, but they don't know about that. I'm just gonna go over you. Please, you scared everybody, but you're scared. I'm sorry. You can tell us later on the day. Sorry, I was sorry. I'm sorry. I'm gonna get this to the police. Listen, I think you should tell them yourself. And I don't want to have to tell your kids that. Your kids need you. Or say goodbye to my kids. Listen, no, we're not going to say goodbye to your kids. You're going to see them again. You want to see them again. Please, you're scaring us. You're scaring them. Please, man. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Listen. Okay, thank you. But there's a lot of people that love you. Don't throw it all away. Don't throw it all away. Oh, yes, you can. Yes, you can. You got your whole family out there. They love you, man. Don't throw this away. Don't do this. They love you. Don't do it, OJ. It's going to work itself out. It's going to work. It's going to work. You're listening to me. I know you. You're thinking about your kids right now, aren't you? Aren't you? No. They're thinking about you. They're thinking about you. So is your mother. Your mother loves you. Everybody loves you. Don't do this. I know you're thinking, oh, man, just throw it out the window. Nobody's going to get hurt. No, you don't deserve that. You do not deserve to get hurt. You do not deserve to get hurt. Don't do this. All I did was love Nicole. All I did was love her. I understand. I love everybody. I try to show everybody my whole life that I love everybody. We know that. And everybody loves you. Especially your family, your mother, your kids, all your friends, AC. Everybody does. Don't do this. Just put it down or throw it out the window.
What a powerful few moments that was. The chase ended, by the way, peacefully. Minutes later, joining us now, Jeff Malis, a helicopter photographer and CNN affiliate KCAL. Jeff, you were on the air live with CNN for an hour and a half following that infamous Bronco chase from the air. Give us your, remember what it was like. What was it like watching all of that unfold from your unique perspective?
You know what, Wolf? The day began made it a live announcement on television that O.J. Simpson was a fugitive from justice. And at that point, all of the news media helicopters in Los Angeles launched and were looking for that white Bronco. I came on at about 3 p.m. in the afternoon, and we relaunched the helicopter, and we headed down to Orange County because there was speculation that O.J. had gone to Nicole's gravesite. I believe that was in San Clemente or somewhere down there in Orange County. We launched and flew every freeway in Los Angeles looking for a white Bronco. We spotted a couple of them. It wasn't his. And then finally, in South Orange County at El Toro Y, we came upon the Bronco that was being followed, I believe at that point, by one black and white car. And there was an announcement of the police scanner and the 187 suspect vehicle in our sights we were following right now. So that's when we stayed with it. I worked at the time for KCAL TV in Los Angeles, which was a big CNN affiliate. And as soon as we got the Bronco into our sights, our local station took it live, and it was only moments later that we heard over the helicopter radio that you guys keep your shot, CNN's going to take you live. And then that lasted for another hour and a half, all the way up to the Rockingham State.
Could you really believe, Jeff, what was going on? It was so incredible for a viewer like me. I was just watching it, and it was just so compelling, so hard to believe this was happening in the United States.
It was very hard to believe. One of the things that was happening people. You can sort of imagine this. I've got the door of the helicopter open, I've got my feet on the skids, I'm sitting on the floorboards, hand holding the camera, and we're going, hey, we've got OJ in the rocket. We didn't really know what was going on, but what happened for a period of time was that with every freeway overcrossing, there began to gather more and more crowds of people, because what they were doing, people were hearing it live on the radio, and they were also tuning into their television sets. So people were leaving their homes and their work and wherever they were, and they were racing these overpasses and putting together makeshift banners and things like that. So it really began to morph into this celebration. Go OJ, go OJ. But that really, when I saw that level of activity with people, that's when it really struck me that, hey, this is something historical that's happening right here. And my first thought, certainly, as an aerial photographer, was, don't mess this up. This is an important shot to hang on to.
And remind our viewers that Jeff, OJ was a beloved figure in LA and Southern California for his years going back when he was a Heisman Trophy winner at the University of Southern California, when he was an all NFL star with the Buffalo Bills. He was really a beloved figure at the time, right?
He certainly was. And what's interesting about that question that you asked is that when I was young, I used to watch the USC football games. My father was a graduate student at USC at the time that OJ was playing football there. So I had an intense knowledge of who OJ was from a young age, following his USC career and into Buffalo with your Buffalo Bills, I will say. And it was quite a career that he had. And one of the things that happened with OJ is that he developed and turned into this sort of celebrity beloved character that everybody just admired. I mean, you know, I'll never forget the commercials with him jumping over the chairs in the airport. You know, people just thronged around him when he was in public, seeking autographs. And, you know, his popularity was pretty unbelievable at the time.
It was amazing. He was unique, and so many of us, we loved him at the time. We didn't know what was about to happen, but he was certainly a beloved figure all across the country, especially those of us like me who love the Buffalo Bills. Jeff, thank you so much for spending a few moments with us on this important day. Jeff Bayless joining us in Los Angeles. I want to continue the conversation right now with a very good friend, an old friend, Roger Cossack. He was here as legal analyst during the O.J. Simpson trial. Roger, first of all, give us your reaction to O.J. Simpson's death. You covered that trial.
Well, thanks, Wolf. Nice to be with you. I am as surprised as anyone else. I had heard that he was suffering from a form of cancer, but of course didn't know that it was as terminal as it turned out to be. And it's a shock, I guess, to me and to everyone else that OJ, who's been such a figure in everyone's lives for so many years, an unforgettable figure, is gone.
Yeah, it's hard to believe the way this all has unfolded. He was apparently suffering from prostate cancer for quite a while, treating it, but obviously in the end, that killed him. Talk a little bit about the lasting cultural impact from that first criminal trial and the way it divided our country at the time.
Yeah, that's I guess something that's probably the legacy of the O.J. Simpson matter and trial. It divided this country seriously along racial grounds, and when the verdict came in, Wolf, I think I was very close to you when the verdict came in. All of us were surprised and shocked, and particularly how quickly the verdict was delivered. After they'd been sequestered for so long and had been out for so long. So it made an impact. We saw pictures of African American people cheering the verdict and others in shock, and it brought up the amount of racial divide and certainly the feelings, a great deal of the feelings about people had about the police in America, and certainly how black people viewed the Los Angeles Police Department. People have asked me throughout the years, was it the correct verdict? Did he do it? And all of those kinds of things. And I told them that, with asking me in terms of was it reasonable doubt is what I say my reasonable doubt is, and what you say your reasonable doubt is, and that's why there's 12 people on the jury. But remember, Mark Furman got caught lying about the glove and about the use of the N-word. And I always thought to myself, if I was an African American on that jury, I wouldn't believe the word right away. And then I thought they did a very good job with the DNA. And Marcia Clark's timeline never really added up. So remember, when you go to a jury, you don't ask them, is he guilty or is he not guilty? You ask them, did the state prove their case beyond a reasonable doubt, or did they not prove their case beyond a reasonable doubt? And I always felt that if I feel, who knows what reasonable doubt is? It's a personal, individual decision. But there were problems in that case. Having said that, I have my own personal opinion about whether he did it. But I will tell you that there were problems in that case that the prosecution had, and I wasn't overly shocked by the verdict.
Yeah, important point. Roger Kosek, all of us will remember your special analysis, your coverage of this trial. Thank you so much for spending a few moments with us on this important day, Roger Kosek, helping us appreciate the enormity of what happened only a few decades ago. And to our viewers, thanks very much for watching. I'm Wolf Blitzer in the CNN newsroom. You've been watching our breaking news coverage of O.J. Simpson's death. I'll be back later tonight, 6 p.m. Eastern, in the Situation Room. Of course, back tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern, in the CNN newsroom. Much more of this breaking news right after a short break.
Are you ready? For All-Star Teams return for a waterfront redemption showdown. They're going to bring it, but only one will make a splash. I think we nailed it.
Welcome to the place where people go to learn about their Medicare options before they're on Medicare.
Come on in. You're turning 65 soon, yeah? And you're retiring at 67?
That's the plan.
Well, you've come to the right place.
Now's the time to plan ahead. Learn about an AARP Medicare Supplement Insurance Plan from United Healthcare, and how a plan like this helps you take charge of your healthcare with lower out-of-pocket costs. Here's why. Medicare alone doesn't pay for everything. Your deductibles and copays could add up to hundreds, even thousands of dollars a year.
Everyone's a little surprised to learn that one.
Adding a Medicare supplement plan helps pay some of what Medicare doesn't, and that can mean fewer surprises and more predictable out-of-pocket costs. Call United Healthcare and ask for your free decision guide, or talk with a licensed insurance agent or producer to learn more about plan benefits, options, and rates. Medicare supplement plans let you choose any doctor, any specialist, anywhere in the U.S. who accepts Medicare patients. You don't have to deal with any networks or referrals. This kind of plan also goes with you anywhere you travel in the country. If you're turning 65 soon or over 65 and planning to retire, find out more about the only Medicare supplement plans endorsed by AARP.
Thumbs up to that.
Remember, the time to prepare is before you go on Medicare.
Don't wait. Get started today.
Take charge of your health care. Call United Healthcare for your free decision guide and learn more about lowering your out-of-pocket Medicare costs and seeing any doctor who accepts Medicare patients.
Oh, and happy birthday or retirement in advance.
Lowering bad cholesterol can be hard, even with a statin. Diets and exercise add to the struggle. Today, it's possible to go from struggle to cholesterol success with Leqvio. With a statin, Leqvio is proven to lower bad cholesterol by 50% and keep it low with 2 doses a year. Common side effects were injection site reaction, joint pain, and chest pain. Ask your doctor about twice-yearly Leqvio. Lower, longer Leqvio.
File 100% free with TurboTax Free Edition. Roughly 37% of taxpayers qualify. Form 1040 and limited credits only. See how at TurboTax.com. That's me!
Fast size, something that gets you noticed, turns hot blocks into lows. Fast size, make your statement.
You're gonna buy a storage shed in the backyard, and it better be as nice as your house. Then look at a Reed's Ferry shed. A Reed's Ferry shed is so good looking you can put it in the front yard. And better quality than those sheds at the home equipment store. Built and installed by Reed's Ferry and backed by a 30-year warranty. See yours online at reedsferry.com. Then make the call. Call 888-85 Sheds. Need a shed? If it says Reed's Ferry, you got a good one.
Looking for fitness and fitness no budget? Join Planet Fitness. Now for April 12th, save big when you join the judgment-free zone. Just $1 down, $10 a month. That's right. We've dropped our goal to just $1. So it's easy to start getting that big fitness energy. Never take always free fitness training, equipment for every workout. And most clubs open 24 hours. So you can get in, get energized, and get going. Join today for just $1 down, $10 a month. It's free time. Hurry. Deal ends Friday, April 12th.
I'm Arlette Stein at the White House, and this is CNN.
This is CNN Breaking News.
We're beginning with breaking news. O.J. Simpson is dead at 76 after losing a battle to cancer, according to his family. Simpson may be one of the most controversial people in our nation's history. Before his murder trial, which divided the country and essentially turned him into an outcast, he was a celebrated football star who won the Heisman Trophy in college. He was also an actor, a pitchman, universally loved by Americans, but that life as he knew it ended on June 12, 1994, when his ex-wife, Nicole Brown Simpson, and her friend, Ron Goldman, were found stabbed to death outside of her home in Los Angeles. The shock of their murders intensifying 5 days later. For hours, time stood still as nearly 100 million Americans watched on TV at this, Simpson taking police on a low-speed chase 60 miles through Los Angeles in that white Ford Bronco.
Simpson would go on to surrender and stand trial for the murders. He was eventually acquitted in what was dubbed the trial of the century, and it aired on television daily, almost daily, for 11 months, capturing the world's attention. Here was one of those historic moments of the trial.
We, the jury, in the above entitled action, find the defendant Orenthal James Simpson not guilty of the crime of murder in violation of Penal Code Section 187A, a felony upon Nicole Brown Simpson, a human being, as charged in count 1 of the information. Superior Court of the State of California, County of Los Angeles, in the matter of the people of the State of California versus Orenthal James Simpson. We, the jury, in the above entitled action, find the defendant Orenthal James Simpson not guilty of the crime of murder in violation of Penal Code Section 187A, a felony upon Ronald Lyle Goldman, a human being, as charged in count 2 of the information. We, the jury, in the above entitled action, further find the special circumstance that the defendant, Orenthal James Simpson, has in this case been convicted of at least one crime of murder of the first degree and one or more crimes of murder of the first or second degree to be not true.
You hear the sobbing in the courtroom after that historic moment, one that was widely unexpected. Despite his acquittal, Simpson's reputation never fully recovered, both legally and in the court of opinion. He was eventually found liable for the murders in a civil trial to the tune of tens of millions of dollars, much of which he never actually paid. Legal troubles followed him for decades, especially after being sentenced to 9 to 33 years in prison for a 2007 Las Vegas hotel robbery. Simpson was released on parole in October of 2017.
Today, a post from the Simpson family on Simpson's verified X account said this: on April 10th, our father, Orenthal James Simpson, succumbed to his battle with cancer. He was surrounded by his children and grandchildren. During this time of transition, his family asked that you please respect their wishes for privacy and grace.
Let's discuss all the angles of this story with CNN's Jean Casares, investigative journalist Diane Diamond, who was the first reporter at the murder scene in 1994, and attorney Oriva Martin is also with us. Let's start with Jean Casares. Jean, this story touches so much of American life and what was happening in the 1990s from so many angles, but perhaps one of the most enduring legacies of the Simpson trial is the way that it defined how Americans view the legal system.
No, absolutely. And there are really two O.J. Simpsons, right? I mean, there's the football icon, And there's also the one that was charged in 2 criminal cases, convicted in one, acquitted in another. But I think because there were cameras in that courtroom, you saw a legal story play out, and that trial went for months. CNN covered it wall to wall. Court TV had their cameras. It made the Court TV network in the 90s. But you got to see witnesses. You got to see demeanor. You got to see social issues. You got to see a dream team of the defense to show that you've got to have a high-quality defensive team. And you also saw the outcome. But the mystery remained, because the mystery of what happened to OJ, to the victims in this case, to Nicole Brown Simpson, to Ron Goldman. I just got off the phone with David Cook. David Cook has been the attorney for the Goldmans for years, and he is the one that is trying to collect the monies from the resulting civil verdict, because he did not win in the civil court in California. And I think, as you have mentioned, they struggled for years, the Goldmans, to get any type of monetary damages that they were awarded. That was the justice they got, was civil court. And I spoke to David Cook minutes ago and asking him, what did you get? What did you ever get in the form of justice from that civil trial? You remember the book, If I Did It? That was a book that came out. Well, the Goldmans got the right to that book, and it became I Did It. And it was on the New York Times bestseller. And that's how the Goldmans got some of the civil judgment that they were due from that civil trial following the criminal trial in Los Angeles.
I read that book, and it was sort of stunning that O.J. Simpson, after being acquitted, had written a book as if he had committed the murders, and that the way this family had to get some of the damages was to have it out there as if he had done it. That was a way that they could get some of the monetary damages that they were due. It was really kind of stunning and didn't seem like something that should happen. Let's talk with Diane Diamond. She is an investigative journalist. As we said, she was the first reporter at the scene of Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron Goldman's murders. And I think, Diane, we're kind of all transported back to 1994 when we are here seeing that O.J. Simpson died. Take us back to 1994 and when you arrived there and what it was like.
Yeah, Brianna, that was the first thing I thought about when I heard about O.J. Simpson's passing today, was that murder scene. My cameraman and I rolled up on the Brentwood apartment of Nicole Brown Simpson just as they were loading the bodies into a morgue truck. And the morgue truck pulled away, and there we were, standing outside on the sidewalk, a long pathway going up to her front gate, and the pavers on the sidewalk were full of blood. There were paw prints from her dog, who had gotten loose after the murders and had gone down to the corner and started howling and alerted the neighbors. And we went inside the front gate, and I was stunned to see there was an open living room. It was all glass. The candles were still going on the hearth, up on the fireplace mantelpiece, and there was a big picture of OJ and their 2 children. And it was so eerie to be standing there, literally in pools of blood. The police had gone. There was no police presence. There was some police tape, but we sort of ducked under that. And there I was standing where those 2 people had been murdered, and the candles were still burning on the mantelpiece. That's the first thing I thought of today when I heard about this news.
Really insightful color of what those moments were like. Let's bring in Areva Martin. And Areva, one of the things that OJ's trial brought to light was the way in which questions about policing, the way that communities of color are policed, were too often ignored, I think, by the country as a whole. And they were central to this case, and they were a huge part of why OJ was.
Absolutely. You can't forget the testimony of Mark Furman, one of the detectives that was very involved in the collection of evidence in the investigation of Nicole Brown's death, as well as Ron Goldman. And Mark Furman perjured himself on the witness stand. He was asked a question under a withering cross-examination by Johnny Cochran about making former racist statements, using the N-word, and he lied about it. and there was evidence he had done a recording with someone else, and they were able to bring that in and impeach him. And in fact, he had to plead no contest to perjury charges that were filed against him after the trial of O.J. Simpson ended. So we cannot underestimate the racist nature of policing in Los Angeles during the period of this O.J. Simpson trial. This is right after the 1992 civil unrest, where we watched in Los Angeles white police officers protect affluent neighborhoods while they allowed neighborhoods in black and brown communities to burn, where we watched the police be engaged in all kinds of violent conduct against protesters. So that was the backdrop in which this trial was happening, and the racism of the LA Police Department was on full display in this trial. There were gaping holes in the prosecutor's case, not just with Mark Furman's perjured testimony, but also with the collection and preservation of evidence. Johnny Cochran called it a contaminated cesspool, a cesspool of contamination. We just heard Diane say she walked up to the crime scene and she could have walked under the tape. That's how poorly this crime scene was maintained, was preserved, and yet they were forced to put on a case using the evidence from that contaminated crime scene and using these police officers, many of whom, like Mark Furman, had a horrific history and past with respect to the treatment and statements about African Americans.
Yeah, and yet even a contaminated crime scene, and this is also the early days of DNA, right? And what should have been, it's so interesting to think about if this case had been tried 20 years later, it probably would have just been a slam dunk on DNA, because contamination doesn't make DNA more likely to match a suspect. It would make it less likely to match a suspect. And yet the defense was able to overcome that evidence, Oriva. I wonder, as you look back on this, because it did reveal so much about what was going on in Los Angeles with policing, what was going on in the nation, how did the verdict age over time?
I don't think it aged well, Brianna. I think folks had formed an opinion about his guilt back when this happened in 1994, probably still believe that he's guilty. Those that believe that this was a setup, that he was framed by Los Angeles police detectives, probably still believe that this was a setup by the police department. And there's ample evidence, I think, for each of those positions with respect to this notion that this was a framing. One of the detectives involved in the case took a vial of blood from O.J. Simpson at the police department, put that vial in his jacket pocket, and then went to the crime scene. And that allows the lawyers, the defense attorneys, to argue, basically make the argument, suggestion to the jury that the blood at O.J. Simpson's or at the crime scene was actually smeared on by this blood vial that was taken from this detective. So those kinds of mistakes make it very difficult for us to have any faith in the criminal justice system or in the evidence that was presented by the prosecution. But yet, here we are. If O.J. Simpson didn't do it, there's never been anyone else identified as the murderer. So for those folks who believe O.J. Simpson is guilty, they don't have any other alternative. There's never been any other person identified as a suspect.
Dan, we do want to give you the last word as someone who closely covered this story and this case. As Gene Casares put it a moment ago, you can split O.J. Simpson's life into two chapters, essentially, and this was the central turning point of it, 20 years removed nearly from the murder of Nicole Brown Simpson and Ronald Goldman. What are your reflections on everything that transpired and the legacy, ultimately, of the biggest moment of O.J.'s life?
Yeah, I think that the double murder, whoever committed it, of course the jury said he didn't do it, and then his conviction for an armed robbery in Las Vegas, which we haven't mentioned yet, I think that honestly stains the football hero, the rent-a-car guy running through the airport looking so handsome. I think people will remember him more for the criminal aspect of his life rather than the athletic.
Diane Diamond, Oriva Martin, and Gene Casares, thank you all so much for the perspective. We're covering this breaking news from all angles. Stay with CNN News Central. We'll be right back.
finale, Sunday at 9 on CNN. Sometimes investing can feel like you're going at it alone, especially when it comes to adding crypto to your portfolio. But it doesn't have to be that way. As the world's largest crypto asset manager, you'll find the vital Grayscale products. You're investing in good info. Grayscale, crypto investing begins here.
The Wiley filter is well designed, efficient. I appreciate that.
We filters technology keeps different on the good gutters for good, guaranteed.
What more can you ask for?
Free filter today. Visit befilter.com.
We had to take out our whole gas heating and radiant heat. That was a really, really huge project. Who has that? As a toddler mom, I do not. I was so overwhelmed, so I started contacting people off of Angie to be able to see contractors that are licensed and real people reviews, to work with people that obviously knew what they were doing. It was a game changer.
Connect with skilled professionals to get all your home projects done well. Get started today at Angie.com.
Vinyl windows seem to be a typical choice here in the local area. Some companies even advertise high-quality vinyl. And Rover here, before you invest in vinyl windows, listen to what Michael Smith of Renewal by Anderson has to say.
With our temperature swings, vinyl tends to warp, which causes condensation between the panes and drafts. And most vinyl windows just look very low end to begin with. Our customers don't want that.
And what are Renewal by Anderson's windows made of?
Our windows are made up of thermopolymer composite material called Pyrex. It's beautiful like wood, but it doesn't require the maintenance of wood. We engineered it to be 2 times stronger than vinyl. So you're getting a window that will really last.
Now this is innovation. You have a feature on your windows that allows for a better view.
Our tracing screens are made out of an ultra-fine stainless steel mesh, which is virtually invisible. You get less dirt buildup, more fresh air circulation, and a better view out of your window.
Now, if we're talking about comfort, how much does the glass matter?
Our high-performance, low-control smart sunglass is infused with silver oxide. It's engineered to help keep the cold air outside in the winter and keep the warm air outside in the summer. It also blocks 95% of the harmful UV rays that fade your furniture and your hardwood floors.
Well, that's impressive, Michael. Thank you. And right now, Renewal by Anderson has a great offer for homeowners.
Before April 30th, buy one window, patio door, or entry door and get the next one 40% off. That's 40% off with a minimum of 4 units. Plus, save an extra $30 on every window and door you buy with no money down, no monthly payments, and no interest for 1 year. This offer ends April 30th for a free appointment with Renewal by Anderson. Call 1-800-501-1400. That's 1-800-501-1400.
Fastline, create factory-grade visual solutions to affect your process. Fastline, make your statement.
Update your floors with Empire Today's $50 room sale. Buy one room, get floors for all other rooms for just $50 each. There's no limit.
800-588-2300.
I'm Dr. Sanjay Gupta, and this is CNN.
Case number BA097211. We, the jury, in the above entitled action, find the defendant Orenthal James Simpson not guilty of the crime of murder in violation of Section 187A of felony upon the 12-1 of information. Superior Court of the State of California, County of Los Angeles, in the matter of the people of the State of California versus Orenthal James Simpson. We, the jury, in the above entitled action, find the defendant Orenthal James Simpson not guilty of the crime of murder in violation of Penal Code Section 187A of felony upon Ronald Lyle Goldman, a human being, as charged in count 2 of the information.
Right, that was live reaction from the audience of the Oprah Winfrey Show at the moment that the verdict was read in the O.J. Simpson murder trial. You saw the mixed reaction of cheers or others just left stunned.
Yeah, that is a time capsule that just captures a snapshot of where the United States was at the time, and the reverberations of that decision carry on to this day. A televised trial culminating in that verdict broadcast within the courtroom created some of the most intense early demand for the current 24-hour news cycle, and sowed the seeds for what became reality TV. For more on this, we want to bring in CNN's Oliver Darcy. Oliver, put into context the way that that case drew so many eyeballs and captured so many people across the United States to the way that the process had lived in
This was a defining moment in American history that shaped our current politics and culture. You know, you had the chase that started it all, that drew about 95 million live viewers, which was unheard of really back in the 90s when this was happening. I mean, you didn't have this current live information ecosystem. People typically would come home and watch the evening news, and they weren't consumed by what was happening live back then. But 95 million people tune in to watch this chase. Then this trial goes on, and it generates mass interest. It gives birth to Court TV. It really boosts CNN. 150 million people tune in live to watch the judgment, the culmination of the trial, and it really boosts this cable television ecosystem. And you have then soon after this trial, Rupert Murdoch, who launches Fox News in 1996. CNN really is solidified, and TV again becomes a thing. And then you also have this trial birthing reality television. This was a reality TV moment before reality TV was a thing. Of course, there's an obvious connection to reality television being the Kardashians, but it boosts reality television. And then, you know, so you have this media environment that is with cable news and reality TV. And then you have someone like Donald Trump, I think, that comes along, and you can really see the connections to where we are as a society today, in our politics, in our media, and you can trace a lot of that back to O.J. Simpson and the mass interest in his trial.
So interesting. Oliver, thank you for that report. Let's get into his sports legacy here. We're joined by CNN sports analyst Christine Brennan and sports broadcaster Carrie Champion. Carrie, first off, just give us your reaction, especially from the sports perspective. Obviously, all of this becomes, I think, intersectional. But what is your reaction learning that O.J. Simpson has died?
Yeah, Brianna, that's actually true. It is all intersectional. I say that about sports often, but for me, this is even more because I grew up in LA. I remember the chase. I remember people running to the freeway to say that they want to send these messages to O.J. Simpson, and not just contextually. What I remember is that this, to me, was the very first time I can remember how divisive we were in public. Black culture was very excited about the fact that O.J. Simpson was, quote unquote, not guilty. And I remember it being on the heels of Rodney King, and that whole entire community, at least from when I grew up there in Los Angeles, felt like it was them versus us type of campaign. We all know how it all turned out in terms of what people feel about O.J. Simpson, but his legacy is interesting in sports to me because O.J. Simpson was the very first truly Black icon in sports that was accepted in mainstream media. People really truly appreciated what he represented. He was America's friend, if you will. The Hertz commercials that we talk about, that wonderful Colgate smile. He went to USC. He was a Heisman winner, which is the highest level of reward you can get as a football player. He was everything, and he was very intentional about being the type of football icon / player / star that America loved because he was able to transition easily into the movies. People really loved him. But it was a choice. O.J. Simpson knew, especially when he was coming up, and I'll wrap this quickly, when he was in the 60s and 70s, they wanted O.J. Simpson to be a part of the civil rights movement. They being Blue Alcindor, known as George Barr, Jim Brown. They wanted him to be a part of that community. But O.J. wanted to be a superstar icon, which he was, and arguably this to me is one of the most, if not the famous case of someone going from a hero to someone who was a horror story, and not necessarily overnight, but you would have never thought this would have been the case.
Christine Brennan, to you, as Carrie just said, the trajectory of O.J. Simpson's life is almost Shakespearean.
Well, it is for us, and yes, Carrie detailed it very well. You know, for me, growing up as a girl who loved sports, watching OJ play, Heisman Trophy winner at USC, of course, then into the NFL and the Buffalo Bills, and the 2,000-yard record, 2003, I'll remember that number forever. As a girl growing up in Toledo, just loving sports, that was OJ. And OJ, of course, also was really one of the first athletes to cross over into our culture. I think he may well have been the first in a huge way, with the Hertz commercials, with the fact that OJ was not only there on Sundays for the NFL, but Monday through Saturday with the commercials as a pitchman and as an icon in our culture. And you think now of athletes. We talked about Caitlin Clark a lot the last couple of weeks. Angel Reese, the commercials you see, of course, Tom Brady, LeBron James, Michael Jordan, Serena Williams. They have all crossed into our lives from sports. OJ was really the first one to be able to do that and led the way for so many others. Now, again, I think it's also important to say that the fall from grace, of course, all self-induced, the murder trial, the civil court, the civil decision that he lost, and just the absolute disgrace. As we remember, of course, there were 2 people who were murdered. But when we're talking about sports, that's the question. This man was iconic, and again, the fall from grace was so extraordinary because he had so far to fall.
He did have so far to fall. Christine, Carrie, thank you so much to both of you, and we will be right back.
Sunday, a night of space. First on the whole story with Anderson Cooper, the James Webb Telescope, our world. Followed by the 2-part finale of the Space Shuttle Columbia, Final Flight. Sunday starting at 8 on CNN.
Imagine a future where plastic is not wasted, but instead remade over and over into the things that keep our food fresher, our family safer, and our planet cleaner. And to help us get there, America's plastic makers are investing billions of dollars to create innovative products and recycling technologies for sustainable change. Because when you push for smarter solutions, big things can happen.
This looks like an actual farm.
You don't matter.
When other vacation rentals aren't what they're cracked up to be. Try one where you know it's okay.
Upon his first day of retirement, Marcus Rogers made a contract with himself. I will never again work hand in hand or time, especially time. I lay down my badge, abandon my corporate phone plan, and I'll get a new plan with consumer cellular, without a contract, without sacrificing coverage.
Let's go, birds.
When freedom calls, we're here to answer.
So I went to Experian. It actually helped lower my monthly bills. Phone, internet, Experian did the work. Also subscriptions I forgot about. Experian canceled them for me. Help me take control of my money.
See all you can do at Experian.com/save. Now, make your first move with battery-powered V-Ice. Right now, save $50 on the RMA 510 battery mower, plus get a free extra battery. Real steel. Find yours.
So what are you thinking?
Thinking, all right, honey. How about Africa? Our hot air balloon ride, swim with elephants. Great Florida safari. Great question. Like everything, takes a little planning. Or put the money towards down payment.
On a ranch
In Montana.
with horses.
Let's take a look at those scenarios.
JP Morgan Wealth Management has advisors and Chase branches and tools like Wealth Plan to help keep you on track. When you're planning for it all, the answer is JP Morgan Wealth Management.
It's a new day. One of our shared values propel us towards a more secure future. Through AUKUS, a partnership built upon cutting-edge American, Australian, and British technologies, we'll develop state-of-the-art next-generation submarines and build something stronger together, securing decades of peace and prosperity for America and our allies. We are going forward and steady forward together.
Introducing Astound Business Solutions. To stay competitive in today's business world, you need an astounding network and partner. Astound Business Solutions delivers high-capacity enterprise fiber connectivity in more than 400 cities, with dedicated local experts available 24/7 to support the secure, reliable, advanced solutions you need for mission-critical systems. Stay connected with your teams, your partners, with the world. With Astound.
What's the number one item in a crisis? Food. Because when the world goes sideways, grocery shelves get despair, people really will go hungry. That's why you need 450's best-selling 3-month survival food kit. Food designed to last for 25 years. It's great and it's easy to make. It has with 688 servings and 24 delicious meals for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Get your food kit with free shipping and free mini kits at 4patriots.com.
Closed captioning brought to you by Mesobook.com.
Heartburn only represents mesothelioma victims and their families. If you or a loved one has been diagnosed with mesothelioma, call us now.
In Arizona, Republicans are the dogs that caught the car being a full abortion ban. And now some of them don't want the car and some of them do. The result is chaos after Arizona Supreme Court invalidated a 2022 ban on abortions after 15 weeks, forcing the state to revert back to an 1864 era total ban. So what to do, as former President Trump clearly worries this could cost him this key state and maybe even the election in 2024.
Mr. President, did Arizona go too far? Yeah, they did, and that'll be straightened out. And as you know, it's all about states' rights, that'll be straightened out. And I'm sure that the governor and everybody else are going to bring it back into reason, and that will be making you ready very quickly.
Trump said that, by the way, from Georgia, a state with a 6-week ban, as he wants Arizona to go back to its 15-week ban. That aside, the answer is clear to him and his backers. The answer is Democrats doing him a solid.
Trump opposes the law and this ruling, or you can believe Jones may pretend Donald Trump that doesn't exist. And you know what? Arizona's governor is a Democrat. The state's attorney general is a Democrat. The state legislature
Peanuts.
almost evenly divided.
You want to go outside?
You want to get rid of the law? Well, you have a chance right now to get rid of it. And I would advise you, get rid of it. They would rather use it as a political tool ahead of November.
While Sean Hannity generally operates in a fast-free zone, he is right about one thing here. Arizona's legislature is almost evenly divided in
So
favor of
the woman is coming between 4 and 4:30 to pick up the dog, thank God. So that's one less worry. Well, I told you, obviously it's going to seem a little bit sad, but it's got to be done. Right, so sometimes in life, you're really better off sort of not thinking about it and being sort of stoic about it. The dog rebonds very well, and if it's that sickly, right, it will, all dogs go to heaven.
All in favor of that motion, go aye. All those vote no, ayes have it, so
Arizona House Rep David Livingston putting the Arizona House into recess until next Wednesday, less than 1 week before abortion becomes illegal in the state, all but ensuring abortion providers.
God's not going to punish a doggy dog.
And yet that was the car that Trump was chasing. He set up the Supreme Court to guarantee it would allow states to ban abortion. And he said on Truth Social, quote, I was able to kill Roe v. Wade.
The important thing is making sure the poor thing doesn't get left in this house like that, because that would be far worse than any euthanasia. So let me get the leash and see if he wants to go outside.
Governor Kim Reynolds has just signed off on
Reluctantly,
a
I'm
bill
sure.
similar to Texas. It gives state law enforcement this power to remove some undocumented.
Now, Iowa's version of the law would mean up to 2 years.
You got 3 hours, just about. Get to meet your new friendly buddy. She sounds nice.
Whitney, it's obviously seem not clear to this point. If SB 4 in Texas is actually constitutional, that is still tied up in court. I'm wondering what's been the reaction to Iowa.
Well, it certainly depends on who you ask. If you ask the Biden administration, they are turning right around and really blaming Republicans for these stalled efforts on Capitol Hill, saying it's Republicans.
You're gonna meet a nice new buddy today.
That we're gonna have really
Yeah.
policies and procedures.
So continue to be a good dog for the people. You never know what's going to happen in life.
Meanwhile, if you advocate for immigrants in Iowa, you say this. This is from an immigration group that has been protesting this law for about a year now. This is the Iowa Migrant Movement for Justice, and they said this. We know that we all belong here. Iowa is home, and we will stand together as workers, families, and allies to defend each other. They went on to say, welcoming immigrants and refugees is the definition of what Iowa nice should be, the group said, saying that Governor Reynolds is failing newly arrived and long-time Iowans. Certainly, there is a very good chance, I would say a nearly 100% chance, that this law is challenged in the same way it is in Texas. Right now, that is stuck in federal court as judge their way whether or not that law is constitutional. Certainly, a similar legal path is highly likely in Iowa. Texas.
Whitney Well, thanks so much. Still ahead on CNN News Central, the fight over FISA.
That's a good job right there.
And another fault line in Republican politics. And it is the latest problem that threatens the Conservative Party at large until Congress is okay.
Are you ready? Your all-star team returns for a one-run redemption showdown. Like in a free, but only one will make a splash. I think we nailed it. Rock the Box finale Monday night at 9 on HGTV. Yeah, time offer from Renewal by Anderson. Have you been looking at replacing your home's windows or doors? If so, I'm sure price is a huge factor. At Renewal by Anderson, we're really proud of our fair pricing policy.
Another time, another place, dog. Where'd you go? You going back upstairs? Oh, you're over there. Okay. He seems to be having a little bit of stiffness in his legs. I didn't notice that before, but it comes and goes with the weather. Yeah, he was a little bit hesitant to go down those steps there, so it's better he's down here right now.
Performs better and is actually 2 times stronger than mine. Okay, so you're carrying this out to your back deck, but you gotta stop.
Yeah, I mean, say that you had a dog like that and it started wheezing, you wouldn't know what the heck to do. I know, just... I'm having allergies too, but that's up for the shelter and the vets to determine. I can't keep a dog anyway. Yeah, just really for the best, for the sake of the dog. We got 3 hours together. Yeah, do that face. Do that face when she comes. Definitely. I'm sure they see all sorts of cute dogs. Do that face when she comes. You want to lay on the blanket? I got water, so I did what I had to do. And I got some beef, even though I have a little bit of chicken left to eat. Well, let's see. We got Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. That's 6 days. So I've got 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that's only like 3 meals right there. Because that pound of ground turkey, I could probably kill that in a meal. Yeah, it just depends on what I'm eating it with, which is not much because I'm not buying. I'm just eating what's here, so. Thought about it with the dough. I'm hoping for the best. Yeah, I'm hoping for the best, as I typically do, so. Yeah, I mean, honestly, in terms of them wanting me to have an exam, I don't know what exactly they want me to do. I mean, they sent me to the nephrologist before. He didn't even take blood work. So, yeah, I think, did he take my blood pressure and that was it? But everyone knows I don't like having that done. It's part of the stress of it all. When someone's a do not treat, you kind of go, why would you even take their blood pressure? But it was actually good last year. Not ready to. I think the dryer is actually still running. Oh yeah, I need access to my phone. I'm gonna put my phone in my pocket. She said she was gonna call before she came. She called me on the way back from Stop and Shop, so. She sounds young and chipper and nice, so that's good for the safety dog. Or 4:30, did I mention half hour? Or tomorrow at 9, it's like, no, I don't see any reason to wait if you can come here today. I know, they're probably hoping that you'll keep the dog. It's an impossible situation. I'm going to a shelter. Yeah. So.
Minutes from now.
Probably. They're probably just taking them and euthanizing them, but I don't have to know that. She already told me. Yeah, just. And the whole family knows because Candy said it too. So for whatever reason, I don't know if her and Norm have dogs. Just. Tommy's dead, so he doesn't know what you're doing with his dog. You would have thought the person that took the mother would take the dog since she has a dog, but the dog doesn't come with a VA check, or pension. He should have made his dog his beneficiary. I'm sure a 57-year-old, he thought his mother was going to die. Yeah, you just go, I'm sure he wasn't thinking that, but. With no known medical conditions other than high blood pressure reported to me like 10 years ago. Some people don't believe you die from high blood pressure. Some people don't get it. Al had wicked, uncontrolled high blood pressure for years, before we met. And when we were first together. So when he got work, he could get health insurance, and he was definitely on medication and has a very high stress life. He does it to himself. He's like worse than Tommy because he's like an A-type personality. So you might want to scurry around trying to figure out how you're not going to give me his Social Security when he drops dead, which it sounds like you're already in the process of doing that. When you got rid of alimony and then said you're going to get rid of death benefits and some sort of complete derangement of the minds in order to do God's work. You're going to make sure that doesn't happen. Okay, well, weird. It's a weird job, I guess. It's a weird time period. I mean, my life's going to be totally different after the Passover. It's just... I don't know if there's like a marker right there where, yeah, last summer, know ye not that so many of us, as were baptized into Jesus Christ, were baptized into his death. All last summer, whatever that means. Romans 6:3. So just all last summer, it wasn't really giving me an answer as to what happened to Brian, so I was getting pretty frustrated. That and something about the comforter. So I didn't know if someone murdered him and wrapped him up in a comforter. That's why I kept asking that. But yeah. Or it's something to do with Behind the Fours, where when that Josh guy said that he saw Greg Ryan's blankets and stuff over there. Because that's not the, that's not the Braintree train station.
When they work hand in glove with the social media companies to deny people or throttle people from being able to share information, that should be protected.
I don't think that's 702. I don't think that's 702, right?
What do you think they're building over there on? Is that Neponset Valley Parkway right there? What do you think that is? It's pretty huge. Do you think it's an apartment complex? Because there's another building behind it, like some sort of medical facility no one's ever going to need.
Bill Barr, who was former President.
I might wait till she comes to eat, and then it's just the whole rest of the day. Yeah, I mean, clearly, I don't think a landlord's going to come in the nighttime. So then there's only basically one more weekday, and then I saw that the BJ's cot was still there with the bag in it. I'm like, should I try? I tried to get the bag out of it yesterday, and it's like heavy. Yeah, because I was like, should I just bring that back here and load it up again? But there's another cart back there. So maybe after the dog goes, there should still be a light if it's not raining. Maybe I'll start trying to take stuff out of that cart. I believe it looks like empty propane tanks. Why anyone has those? Part of the sickness. I don't think they ever used a grill in 2 years that I know about. They used it when it was set up at the house on the back thing, but I don't remember him using it at all the whole time they were here. So whatever that was, it wasn't a good setup for him somehow, some way, but because there's no covered, that was a back porch that was covered. Maybe that's why it was partially covered. Yeah, it wasn't covered. It was covered at this part. So I think I would know if they were using the grill. Remember, I thought he was like using it, so the smoke went up to my window. As weird as that sounds, why did he never use a grill here? Unless he was getting less and less able to do things, and he was just using that Foreman grill.
If that's actually the case, if we see a bill come back to the floor, and I think that there's some negotiation.
I don't even see the grill, but it might be in the garage.
And some of those 19 to try to.
Did they bring the grill here? I don't know.
It does so happen that many of the people who you think want a better bill are also the people who ousted Kevin McCarthy. There's quite an overlap in the Venn diagram. Do you personally have confidence in Stephen Hunter's leadership?
Yeah, I think if he gets this bill through the floor, he's trying to work his way through it. And I mean, we're going to find out. Leadership is a tough thing. He stepped into a very difficult job. And he's just trying to work his way through it and try to get to the best place. Now, those of us that sit on the judiciary that believe in this bill, making sure that we don't have warrantless searches, we're going to fight as hard as we can to make sure that that happens.
Congressman Tom Tiffany, thank you so much. We appreciate your time today.
Good to join you.
And next, he's accused of stealing millions of dollars from Dodger star Shohei Ohtani, but the DOJ just revealed he took a whole lot more than originally thought.
The Source with Caitlin Collins, tonight at 9.
Has your advisor created a portfolio based only on your age and risk tolerance? That's simply not good enough. At Creative Planning, our private wealth managers learn about you first. Don't settle for a standard portfolio. Book your free meeting today at creativeplanning.com.
This is our future, Mom. GoDaddy Arrow creates a logo, website, even social posts in minutes. How? AI. AI will make it. Who wants to come see the future?
Get your business online in minutes with GoDaddy Arrow. Asking you, the mission is something that everyone can really get behind. And I want people to end childhood cancer. I learned that no patient ever had.
I didn't go anywhere. I'm right here.
For travel or.
Well, I'll say this, you're not going to be lonely. Right, because even if they euthanize you, you'll be put into a kennel around other people and other dogs for that rest of your time. Yeah, maybe that's me too. If they're going to euthanize you out in Quincy, Brian. Hey, so yeah, I mean, we're all going to die. We might as well be here where we have this, that, and the other. Okay, so you have no intention of leaving here, but when you left a hospital when I went out there, you were gone. Anyways, I don't know, man. I still think somebody just picked him up and took him to their house, and maybe that person died or finally got tired of him. It's almighty, right? I'll find out when I get out there if anybody's heard anything. So it hasn't even been a year, right? Like, I don't want to say something bad about Allie. Don't get me wrong. But how long was Alex living with her? About a year, maybe, right? was it about a year or was it about a year and a half or something like that? Her sister put a stop to it. Right. That's not really about her. That's why I'm saying it like that. But he was forced back outside. She didn't keep him captive in her housing, because I saw them at Stop and Shop. But he clearly wasn't going outside a lot. I don't think it was a good time for her, but that's not my business. Sometimes people wish to forget stuff and they don't want people to keep talking about it. So. Yeah, just know that when someone hasn't been around you since August, I don't know that. So my bad if I was talking and I said your name and stuff. I don't even know anybody's last name except for Jen. I don't believe in that, but it's up to the person. Like shame and stuff. There's no shame in you not that person anymore. I don't know how to explain it. Yeah, just some people take that as a badge. Because especially if you, I don't know about trying to be guidance counselors, but when people ask advice and stuff, knowing that you had a life, it makes it, they actually will listen to you as opposed to thinking when they go to a church that you don't even know anything about what sex is. That's why there's probably older nuns. It's just, I don't know what priests do, but priests provide counsel, don't they? In the church, except to Mary Gladys. They go real scared and go, no one knows the day of the hour, only the Father. Nor, but, okay, as in the days of Noah, because I told you that God said Jacob's ladder is DNA. Okay. But, so the Father, I didn't say Jesus, so the Father made communication with me. So does he know?
This has been the CNN new developments in a gambling scandal that shook Major League Baseball during
No one knows the day nor the hour.
announcing charges against the former interpreter for Dodgers superstar Shohei Ohtani.
Only the Father. Okay. That's right, because I said God, I didn't say Jesus. Little children, it is the last hour. Okay. So someone knows, God tells them sometime. It's right in there. Anybody that he directs to that passage, he's telling them, correct? As you know, the Antichrist is coming. When you start storing things and getting wicked flipped out about people's hair on the floor and stuff, yeah. Like, I mean, unless it's just a ton of it. When you're filthy. Okay, Tom Kent, dead in the grave. Same thing with Barbara Kent. She was like accusing me of my hair dye being mold in her bathroom. That is not hair dye, Barbara. It's mold on a thing, a shower pad you put down that needs to be replaced, not you keep bleach in it. You don't like bleach, and your house is filthy. So that's clue number one. You're not me. You're not Monica Clean. What are you doing? Well, I'm mopping the floor. I'm cooking a turkey. And she's like, I went out and got a stick, and someone out across the street from Dollar Tree in Quincy, where Can Man is, left one of those scrubby things out in the trash, and I was tying it to a stick to clean a toilet because I was tired of cleaning it with my effing hands. Get how disgusting that is? It's a shared bathroom. Okay? With a person who keeps removing a toilet brush and throwing it in the trash or putting it in the second bathroom. Oh, yeah, no matter, I put it onto the sink. I put it over there. Look, there has to be a toilet bowl cleaner in this bathroom. Who is doing that? Is there a closet that a person has a key to and takes it out? Because seriously, why is there no toilet paper in this bathroom? You people are that cheap ass. They don't give out toilet paper at a food pantry in Quincy when there's like 5 of them. Don't you people get DTA cash? You didn't think to just go buy toilet paper and put it in 3 bathrooms? My God. You're nuns? Anyways. Make sure you do that face when she comes. And you need a bath. Yeah. Before they make their decision, not I make decisions. I'm going to a shelter. So I suppose they registered you as a beagle. I can see it now because they said that. And I go, I don't think so. I think it's like a miniature pinscher. But mine that I named Bugsy Siegel is a he's probably dead now. A tricolor Jack Russell Terrier. Paid like $1,500 for that dog. It was flown to me from like Georgia. I had to go pick it up at the airport. This big. They only get about this big, you know. Shorty Jacks, they're very small dogs. They're about this big and this tall. I had 3 of them. But they're like Spitfires. It's a dog that's wicked hyper. Don't get one of those. Yeah, just they're wicked hyper. You have to be like me. You have to really like people that run around going all kinds of crazy shit going on. Right? Shower curtain. Don't try to go out with that dude if you think I know, just, you can put a suit on that. Yep. And then you hand him the thing and having my soda. But that clearly has to be trained. Like, you don't say that stuff in front of people. Like, what do you want? That has to be trained. Yeah. Because they listened. He wants a wife, so he listens. What is it? And then he stops doing that behavior, just like I said.
Now this is innovation. You have a feature on your windows that allows for a better view.
Having my soda. I personally want one that's sort of like robust, but clearly they're going to act different when they meet the person they want to marry. Yeah, you don't want one that's like, sorry, Patrick, that's not my type. He just seems proper already. All set with that. You can't fake it. You just go. It's like me. Yeah, I guess I want a dude like me. I'm describing myself, basically. I don't think he ever was doing that other than shower curtain. Like, oh, you don't have to worry about me talking about that. These people are forcing all this out of me with following me around. Oh, yeah, I got to go to a court. I got to do this. You go, really? Yeah, I'm a carefree, fancy-free person. Like, this is crazy. I don't know. Anyways.
They know how it works. And more importantly, it works for them.
I know this is going to be good. So I get Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. I get 5 days. Okay. Just so that people know, I have not been alone I was at the hotel. 3 weeks. Okay. But this isn't 3 weeks. This is 5 days. So in 13 plus year, especially that family, they have not allowed me to be alone in a house without an animal, in case you didn't know that. So, yeah. It's weird. I don't know what that means for God other than it's probably a panic. It's some kind of panic. Don't leave. I can't stay in a rental house. Yeah, like that's definitely shock and mental confusion, like I'm still at Flanagan Place. Okay. That's why I left in August, because I wasn't, in case everyone forgot, I'll go over it again. When I realized that Candy and Norm left, which was what, about June? I don't know how long they had been gone. I noticed that I wasn't seeing that truck coming in the driveway. And so Barbara and Tommy went out one day because they didn't say anything to me. And I snuck upstairs and saw that 2 rooms that Candy had been in were like booby trapped. There was stuff in front of them and like a string. Like the person thought they'd know if someone went up there and checked those rooms. Like they wanted to know the second I knew that they weren't there. Okay? That's crazy. That's crazy. Now the dude's dead. She's at Cindy's. I'm telling you, that's crazy. Okay. So I peeked in. Candy's bedroom door had a hole in it, and I could see her bed wasn't there. So I immediately contacted Cindy, and she wouldn't come over the house and help me. All right. So then he bought a trailer. Barbara thought he was buying in a dumpster. And he pegged it right up to the window of the room I was in. That's why I took pictures of it. And then he unrolled the window. You can see the windows out. That was up against a window. I was in a bedroom with one window in the house. And there was bushes on either side. So I couldn't even open the window and climb out of it to escape. Okay. So she started following me around the... No, that was after that. I'm sorry. So I went out. It was the first day I went out after he put the trailer in. I went out for a walk, and I saw that. And didn't I immediately walk to Worcester? Am I mixing up the timing of what happened? Yeah. And I saw that and went, yeah, just completely. Wouldn't you go, what the fuck? And just leave? So before that happened, this is after Candy and Norm left. So Candy and Norm don't even know this happened if people couldn't see me online. Tommy would take out the lawnmower and stand in the driveway, because it's like this, but it's a driveway, the room I was in, and he would run the lawnmower. He would stand there like this right outside my window, running the lawnmower until I had to close the window because of the fumes. I'd have to close the window and open the door, which went into the dining room. And they were sleeping in the living room. And her bed, you could see right into the room I was in. Okay. So he came running in the house and said to Barbara, I got her to open the door. My hand to God. And it wasn't the same day, but Barbara was telling me that Michelle and Jared were coming over to get stuff out of the basement. So can I leave my bedroom door open so that Michelle and Jared can see into it when they walk by? That's what Barbara Kent said to me. This was all in the same time period. And I'd go down the basement to do laundry, and Barbara Kent was at the top of the stairs doing Hail Marys like this. I'm not kidding you. Because what she was doing when I wasn't downstairs is she was closing that door and putting a knife across it so that a person she thought wouldn't be able to open the door and they'd be stuck in the basement. And that's also when I realized that someone at some point in time, I don't know when, put a lock on that door in the basement that goes to the outside, like bulkheads, and you had to have a key to open it from the inside. So the two of them are mentally insane, Thomas and Barbara. It's like one of the most severe cases of mental insanity and domestic violence that I've ever heard of myself, where people, even when they're told it's going on, refuse to help me get away from it. Like I'm telling you, and I don't know if you're not believing me or you actually don't care. I took photographs of it and showed it to people in Quincy in 2020. So God killed him. I mean, clearly they're not as sick here, but only by God Almighty. So from what I can fathom, God allowed them to be like that so it would be reported to you people, and then you ignored it. and then he gets them to think other thoughts. Okay. So I explained the room on the third floor when Tommy brought me here. Okay. The two other bedrooms that were available were covered. The entire floor was covered. Okay. And then the third floor room was completely empty. And I saw that the door had a key in it that locks from the outside. So, of course, I didn't take that room. Get it? So, I don't know what the thought process was when they moved here, but I think you can guess what it was. So, my job of guarding that, apparently, is over because God put an end to it. Not I did anything to him, not Barbara did anything to him. God did it. Right? Because I've gone over it like if he could have committed suicide, why would he have shit in the toilet? Right? So nothing really indicates he was planning to commit suicide. Like even his schedule, he was supposed to do something that day, the dog license. Right? So yeah, like the rest of his schedule's empty, but if you look at the other months, he doesn't even have pay rent on there and stuff. So if you knew like I don't think he knew how to work the washing machine anymore, and he wasn't admitting it. Yeah, like I used to see him take his laundry basket and leave it outside his room for a week, move it to the top of the stairs for a week, put it here for a week, put it in the kitchen for a week. He just could not get himself to do anything. I don't know how you forget something when it's sitting right in front of your face. Speaking of laundry, when it's sitting right there, how do you forget? I don't even keep my laundry basket usually, and I know I'm doing laundry. Right? You just go, you don't know you don't have a comforter on you?
And Brianna and Morris, you may remember everyone was hanging on every word that Kato Kaelin was testifying during that murder trial. He became one of the most famous people from that trial who was not directly a part of it, but still everyone wanted to know.
Everyone remembers Kato Kaelin. Stephanie, thank you so much for bringing that to us. We do appreciate it. And before Simpson became the centerpiece in arguably the most high-profile trial in history, he was one of the greatest football players to ever.
I just got to get laundry. Don't
Let's
worry.
expand the conversation now with former NFL player and host for DraftKings, Mike Golick. Mike,
You're starting to act like Barbara. Are you going out? She was still doing that, but she never would stop me from going out. But she's implied to try to stop me from going out for like 3 or 4 years. You have to ignore them. Yeah, you have to ignore them, but they will tell you that it's dangerous outside. Are you going outside again? You have to ignore them. So some people have a difficult time, and not the mentally ill people that won't come out of a room.
November of 94 and October of 95. So I saw it from the football side, and I saw it from the broadcast side and talking about it. And this was
All right, so let's see.
surreal experience for all of us in that area.
It might look better actually than it did. It's a good thing I put it in the dryer, but I do have bleach actually, but some of it did actually come out. But I can still see that it's off color right there, but it actually looks better. Here we go. That was worth the washing it.
Extraordinary split-screen moment for millions of viewers. What do you remember about that time?
All right, so this goes here.
Well, every network, including CNN and all the mainstream networks that preceded cable, CBS, ABC, they're all trying with Ariel trying to cover it as best they can. But Dick Ebersol, who ran NBC Sports, had a dilemma because it wasn't just a basketball game, it was the NBA Finals. And as I recall, the series was tied 2 games apiece, and it was a close game at Madison Square Garden. And so at various times, I threw it between Marv Albert, who was calling the game. They would come to me upstairs at the Garden. I'd throw it to Tom Brokaw. He would do a summation. At other times, we'd have the split screen, as you mentioned, half the screen.
I don't think I'm gonna need a scarf,
The Bronco chase.
but
And another
I'll
factor
stick it
here
in
is
there.
that many of us involved in NBC Sports had known and been very friendly with OJ. He and I worked on the football show for NBC for 4 or 5 years, beginning in the early 90s and up until that point. And then, subsequently, not that
that
night,
stuff doesn't
not
need
long
to go
after,
back in the bag.
I learned that OJ, for whatever
Alright,
reason,
this is gonna go back over here.
from the Bronco. I didn't have a cell phone at that time. Those who know that I'm behind the technological curve. Had a flip phone.
Gotta go upstairs to donations.
The early days of cell phones, but he had a car phone. So he calls my house in St. Louis, and I wasn't there. I was in New York. Nobody answered the phone. And eventually,
Yeah, this is gonna be nice. I don't have to worry about the phone and stuff. I put it back in the bag, the sweater. Okay, well, it's down here. The stuff's going back upstairs.
And an engineer eventually answered the phone, and he said, I need to speak.
Yeah, tomorrow I'll probably feel comfortable enough to do my hair, and it's gonna rain, so. Tommy's not here to question chemical smells. He smelled chemicals and it smelled real bad. I don't know. I think it was probably conditioner. And because, yeah, just people who are not bathing, they're not doing their laundry, the house is closed up for 2 years. Just, yeah, the second she comes to take that dog, I'm going to put that other stuff in the washing machine. So, who knows? Maybe I'll even clean the carpet again if I get bored.
And in the course of some awkward kind of small talk conversations, and Al Cowlings, who was driving the Bronco that night, was there with me, along with Robert Kardashian, the three of us talking with OJ. And Al Cowlings.
All right, so this is going upstairs.
You know, we tried to call you from the back of the Bronco. And now I remember the call from the woman at Time Magazine, and we began talking about this, and I said, okay, why would you be trying to reach me in that moment? And he said, I was being defamed. Not so much
Don't follow me.
murders, but my whole life was being defamed. And I thought that maybe you could give a different viewpoint as my friend. And I didn't bother to explain to him what the journalistic imperative would have been at that time, and what I would have had to have asked.
Coming down right now.
We were passed through if you were going to go on the air rather than talk to me privately, but obviously that's all new points that we never have.
Well, Bob, I mean, I have to ask, what would you have asked O.J. Simpson at that moment?
This is gonna go over in that cabinet. I told Tommy, you gotta do it right at the second. Don't ever put something aside and go, yeah, I'll do that the next time I'm out there. Don't do that.
So he says, no, I couldn't possibly have done it. Well, OJ.
Never do that. It's cumulative. Like, hopefully you're not living like this. Okay, if you are, you need to hire a dumpster or moving company if you're living like this. Okay. It's cumulative. Right. If you were in a completely clean house, you would get it. Right. Because you go, what is that? No, it's right there. Put it there right now. You can't be that tired. You shouldn't even be in a house if you're that tired. Get it? Why is that comforter there? Just walk right down the stairs and put it in the washer right now. Because he couldn't operate the washing machine and he wasn't admitting it. I didn't know when I saw it on that box that it wasn't clean. I didn't know that. I figured he took something out of the dryer and like the washer and the dryer were full because I was doing so much of Barbara's laundry. I thought at first he took something out of the dryer without a basket and put it on this table like I started doing because you're like, what am I supposed to do with all this stuff? For a while I was folding it and then I just started plopping it there myself because it was constant. It was like she would do it purposely every time she knew I was washing the stuff, trying to keep her urine smell all over this house. Okay. So anyway, it could have been a coincidence, like she was knocked out by the nuclear stuff and she was depressed because she couldn't walk. That is possible. But anyways, right. And then he forgot to then go down and put his stuff in the washer. It wasn't even that. He went down there with it and couldn't figure out how to use the washing machine. So I don't know how much longer he thought he was going to be able to keep living here. So that's why I said he doesn't even know it, but he probably had all these fears that were never going to happen. So, right. He had all these fears that were never going to happen because he just died. So, I'm not interested in that. All right. Like, take your mother, take the dog, go to a shelter. It lacks sense. Right. Like, why would you force me out of this house if I was just going to die? That seems really heartless and sick, doesn't it? Okay. So, like I said, I'm presuming that someone's either in Quincy or they're going to be because it's almighty. Unfortunately, whatever their situation is, they're going to end up in a shelter. So. Not anybody in this genetic family. Yeah, that's definitely cause to put someone in housing because clearly it's domestic violence. Please stop doing that. That's kind of new. You don't like the talking now? Yesterday I felt bad because I was angry and I thought that's why you were doing it. But I don't know, maybe that is a behavior you do here and I didn't know it. Right. The landlord, I don't know if the landlord's going to care. I still think the landlord's going to rip this thing up and replace it. But if I get bored, I might clean it again after the dog's gone. We'll see. It's, I mean, what you can clean. I moved that in the chair. So you still have these dresses. And I actually moved the bed. I don't know if I'll do that again. I moved it because you could see she was sitting on the edge of it, urinating. Yeah, she was sitting on the edge of it urinating because it was all there. And then the dog was probably going and urinating where she was urinating because it's a dog. I mean, I don't know for sure the dog was doing it, but it's a dog. So you can't fault the dog for that. That is what they do. So I know they were asking me if the dog was altered. And they're like, well, if it's a male, there'd be testicles there. I've never looked. So maybe it is altered. Yeah, like I'm clearly not in a relationship with the dog. I don't even pet it. Yeah. It seemed like it wanted me to pet it last night. That's the first time it started doing that. So that's about a week. And it's like completely rebonded to another person. So yeah, it helped that I got rid of Tommy's scent. That's probably what did it. Yeah, like weird, you learn things. People that have animals probably know that. Whoever is feeding it. Right, it's probably whoever's feeding it and taking it out. It has a little bit of gas. It might be the food that Tommy was buying it. But it definitely, obviously a bath too. But I don't know what they're going to do. It probably sounds dumb because, right, the reality of it. But yeah, you got to have a faith. Like, if they have to put the dog down, all dogs go to heaven. I'm glad I wasn't there for that with my dogs. Yeah. It was bad enough what happened. Yeah, just... I take it as a coping mechanism for people, but it shouldn't matter. Like, other people don't have to be unhappy for you to be happy, but the mind does try to figure out why people would do certain things, and anything that they can cling on to them, it matters that other people don't have it. Like when you're a naturally like energetic and exuberant person, for some reason they can't handle it. They really can't. And then it's just they've got to figure out what they can have that I can't have in order to cope with their lives somehow. Like at least I'm not Mary. Okay. Maybe just stop paying attention to Mary and you won't have those negative, sad, makes you sad feelings.
There ain't one. You're telling me you can get direct TV for good stuff, and you don't need a
I'm thinking I was just about to do something. What was I just about to do?
You're one sick pitch. Them dishes kept the rain off our feet.
Maybe nothing.
We just have different priorities. Satellite free direct TV. I'd see the day.
I know. I took the dog out when I got back, so that was 1:30 because I remember looking at the clock. Probably 3:30, and then should be just another hour. 2 more hours. Drinking water. Yeah. Probably part of the reason I'm feeling better. I did 2 sets of push-ups before I went to the store. Got my water for the day. I got a 2-liter and a liter. Because back in the day, it was 3 liters. I like to have enough so that I'm never going, oh, I'm thirsty, but I'm out of water. So I'm glad to have the SNAP card. So it's no different than now, except I can't supplement with the food pantry, and it wouldn't matter because I can't cook anything. So usually at the shelter, I have a pound of peanuts and I get raisins at Walmart, and I don't use all of them. And I poor Melissa, I'm always asking her if she needs raisins. She's never going to eat them. And then I drink a liter of soda, and I'll probably only drink about a liter of water in that given time. So, and maybe in the summer it'll be different. So it's hard to drink that much fluid by, oh, that's right. They let you bring it in, but can it be salsa water? Because flat water makes me nauseous. I mean, I can try it. They weren't saying anything before if it was unopened. Yeah. Not a 2-liter. I don't need a 2-liter past, whatever time it is. That's right. I forgot they let you bring in water now. Liter water. So that's 2 liters of liquid a day. I don't usually drink a liter of soda, but I mean, it's probably what, $1.50 now? It was $1. It's probably $1.50 now. Okay. Right. Because one of those cold sodas is like $3.50 for the little tiny ones. Just for no reason. But homeless people don't have a refrigerator.
We had advance notice that he was going to be arrested and that his lawyers agreed to surrender him at Parker Center.
Make sure my everything's good with my phone. It should be because I answered it when I was out. Okay, yeah, there we go.
Gascon told the press that O.J. Simpson was in the wind. And it took me a moment to understand in the wind, and I asked again, he said, yeah, the guy's a fugitive and we're looking for him. So literally every police officer and federal agent in California and maybe in the country were now looking for O.J. Simpson, as well as every reporter. So I turned to my crew, we had our helicopter downtown LA, and I said, we're going to go find him. So once we were in the helicopter, the discussion moved to,
face masky. Yep.
Was a narcissist? Where would that person go? And I thought he would go to the graveside of his ex-wife. And I flew down there. It was about a 20-minute flight. Normally it takes about an hour and a half by car. And I went over the graveside.
I'm pretty sure it means my son Nicholas.
So they had pretty much the same idea. Then I got a phone call in the air from our assignment.
Bronco face masky.
Who told me that they were listening to some FBI frequencies. I tuned in, and sure enough,
Doesn't it say face masky?
spotted the El Toro Y, which was literally right below me. So I looked through the helicopter chin bubble, and there was a white Bronco. And to confirm that it was OJ, sheriff's unit pulled up, another sheriff's unit pulled up, another and another, and the vehicle didn't pull over. And we had our man. And so, flip of the switch, we had almost 100 million viewers around the country and parts of the world watching this infamous Lost Man Pursuit, this surreal spectacle on television.
So how do you think that moment changed the way that news is covered? Because
Oh yeah, when I went to the store, man, it was like July 2022 levels right here. I was like, man, 3 weeks of that. That was, I know Nicole doesn't even remember. Nicole at the shelter. I was like, something last summer. She goes, no, I don't remember. Oh my God. How do you forget that? I guess I remember because what happened to me when I walked up the hill, my traps, like, whoa. And then I was like laying down for 3 weeks. I'm eating disgusting gel made cheesecake. I'm going, oh my God, this is like not good. And then as soon as my knees locked up, like January of 2022, it went away finally. Yeah. So the dog is a little bit stiff. So it's probably good I take the dog out frequently, whereas Tommy might have not have been doing that. Yeah. Get him up and walking around. So same thing with Barbara. How much of that is because of not moving? That's what's good about a visiting nurse. I mean, they probably have a physical therapy come in there if they still do that. If people are still being forced to work, some people want to do it. Right? Some people want to do it. They want something to do. So they would probably do it without pay if they don't have to pay rent and mortgage. Get it? Day one, the housing, approve every stipend. You shouldn't care about approve every stipend, especially when you don't pay a rent or a mortgage. It got all messed up because people pushed me out of a housing. So, and then it just, people went mad. So it's been 4 years now, so we're hopeful.
Surreal situation. People poured out to the freeway. Weird procession going by, 18 helicopters.
I stated that I can't care about that stuff. I went over that this morning about like people taking over empty housing and stuff. I can't care about that. I'm not going to be driven mad by it. So
Nothing surprises me in Los Angeles anymore. Nothing.
I'm not allowed to do it. Someone has to give me one. Oh. Hello?
Of course, thank you.
Hi.
So right now,
Good. Okay. Yeah, I'm standing here right now, ready for you. Okay. No, that's all right. You can just come right to the door. Awesome, thank you. Okay, bye. Oh, she's coming now, Peanuts. She's gonna be here at 3:15. Let me get the leash ready. Should you go out one more time, or?
I know the TurboTax experts because I had 2 full-time jobs, lawyering and.
You wanna go out one more time? I know your tail's all wigged and everything. Tie you on the hill.
Shipping to your thing. With low-cost ground shipping from the United States Postal Service.
No, it's too windy now. My father is severe arthritis. I'll be back.
When are you ready to go? Did you give God's help you make you feel better? You're excited to go? Okay, good. I'll keep the leash out here when she comes. I may have to shut this off because I don't really want to do that to people. Yeah, I'm not going to make people appear on my home security. So maybe closer to 3, I'll shut it off while she's here. he didn't want to go out. So yeah, that's probably God doing that. Like, but I noticed yesterday he started wagging his tail when it was time to go outside. So hopefully he'll be just as friendly to her. I've never seen him barking. Like, people don't usually come here. He was here the day that Tommy died and the day after, and I don't remember him barking at any of the people coming here. Okay, so he used to be big on barking, but it was people in the house. He doesn't like boots. Yeah, he doesn't like boots, like walking around. Whatever happened to him, he does not like that. So I already put my boots in bags. I know, remember I was like, I should put them on and walk around the house, but the dog doesn't like them. I suppose I could find them. Yeah, I suppose I could find them. Yeah. But maybe that's more upsetting. I'm only going to wear the things once. I only wore them once. Well, that'll be somebody else's thing up there. Well, they came from Savers, but I think they're real leather boots. You got to force them on. They're a size 9. So if you're a size 9, you got to force it. You got to like stand up into them because they probably use those things to put them on. Yeah, you got to stand up in them. I guess I'll probably shut this off now until she comes. So